I can't see. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we believe in starting on time, on the dot. The moment that we've all been waiting for, Eureka has arrived. Please join me in welcoming our founder and CEO, Dr. Mohit Batra.
Thank you so much for coming here. It's lovely to see some faces. For the last 2 years, we've been talking to ourselves on these webinars. You have seen us in all our home clothes. This is, I guess, the first time after 3 years we're wearing a jacket, so it's a little odd. Excuse us for that. But it's beautiful to see all of you out here. There are thousands of our investors on the webinar. We've gone live on the webinar as well. Normally, you know, because you've been hearing us a lot, right? So normally, you know, I take the aggressive role, and Sunil takes a very moderate, conservative role, but he's taken the aggressive role today. Yeah, he's just come and said that the markets are going to double up in the next 5 years. And he said that if it doesn't happen, you can write on my Twitter handle. Right? It's a very easy way to get out. Yeah, so you know, it makes life difficult for people like me because I have to give you a product that has to outperform 3x of the market, right? Otherwise, you will come at my home. Because I don't go to my Twitter, I never see my Twitter, right? So whatever you say out there on the Twitter, Sunil will answer, but he makes the life very difficult for me here. I personally believe that we are in times where volatility is going to play a very key role in the market. Whatever we may say, that the 5-year looks bullish, 10-year looks bullish, I think not a single person in this room has any other belief but knowing that the next 5 years is a very bullish time for us. I don't think so we have disagreement there. I think we have a little bit of comprehension of what is happening in the financial markets today and how the markets will play out and how our guts to remain invested in those markets will play out in the next 1 to 2 years. So for me, if I look at the markets, if I look at on a daily basis what's happening, you have a gap up, you have a gap down, and you have a gap up, and sometimes in the same day you have a gap up and a gap down. So you have a lot of volatility that is playing out in the markets. There is something key that is being missed upon by the whole set of financial advisors in the market. We are talking about the same story, we are singing the same song. We are singing the same 5-year song to you. We are singing the same 10-year song to you that don't worry, in the next 5 years or 10 years, the markets will go somewhere. The problem is not that. The problem is what happens to the market now. And the problem is how do we address those concerns by our IP, by the product fitment that we have here, to ensure that we have a playoff and we have a tough fight within the markets that our product and our IP can play out. And I think you guys are more looking at an answer to that in terms of what we can do to play out the market over the next couple of years. If there is one thing that Markets Mojo does very well, what do you think that is? Sorry? We keep you on the ground. Excellent. Anything else? Anybody else? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. What else? Right. Okay. What is the DNA of Markets Mojo that you feel is very strong? The IP. Right. So I'll tell you, my answer is a little different from all of you. We are masters of failure. Nobody fails better than Markets Mojo. We know how to fail very well, right? And that is the common theme. Now that our office is open, come over to the office, and that is something that you will see. That is our common theme when we discuss internally. I come out with a product, I am so excited, I go and I discuss it with Joy, and Joy says, "Ye fail ho gaya." Right? Assume this is failed. What else can you do? We go back, we try and tighten the product, we come back, and then we say, "Oh my God, if this doesn't work." Right? Look at your lives. Go back. Look at your lives. You guys have all, lived a beautiful life, but go back and see the proportion of failures in your life and the proportion of successes in your life. Yeah? What do you see? You see 90% of the time you failed. You see 10% of the time you succeeded, right? That is the life of a human being. That is the life of a company. 90% of the time you would fail, 10% of the time you would succeed. You cannot increase this, right? There are two ways in which organizations can work. Way number one is focus on your success and try and replicate those. That's what the industry does. We don't do that. We're sure about our successes. What we do is we only deal with failures. We know the only way out of 100, if we are failing 90 times and we are succeeding 10 times, the only way to increase that number 10 is by reducing 2 failures. Right? When you fail, the mistake has to be as minimalistic as possible, and when you succeed, the celebration has to be as big as possible. Your stakes in your success bets has to be at a different level, and your margins when you fail has to be minimalistic. That is the only rule that works, Acceptance of failure is the only rule that works in Markets Mojo, and we believe we have learned the art to fail. There are moments, there are months and months. Today, the Eureka moment that we are going to show you, it's something been on our mind for 3 years. We've constantly failed on this. And when we come in front of you, we are close to 100% sure that we are right, but there is still a chance of failure. That's my open disclaimer to all of you out here, that we may fail even in this Eureka moment, but not by the margin that the market may fail, right? The failures, 99% of the failures gives us one idea. We have been very open in coming in front of you and saying that I do not know this, I do not know this, I do not know this, but this nobody knows better than us. And that is the only claim to fame that Markets Mojo has. I've been a part of the financial services for over 27 years now, little less than Sunil. I have had the pleasure of running companies. I've had the privilege of being a part of very strong leadership-driven companies. And I've always seen one thing. In financial services, why am I in the financial service business? Why am I in the financial service business? I am only existing in this business if I make money for you. I'm only existent in this business if I make money for you consistently, tirelessly, over a period of time. No organization on the face of this earth has ever put a motto that we are here to make money for the client. We want to make your life easier. Arey bhai, easy to bana diya hai. Right? Easy, your smartphones will make it easy, right? We are here to give you excellent service, connecting the world, right? There are various themes on which you have financial services coming out with vision statement. I'm proud to present you our motto, one motto and single vision. You may call it a vision, you may call it as a philosophy, you may call it as a motto, but this is Markets Mojo's stubbornness, which is every investor has to make money from Markets Mojo. Sorry, give me the next slide. So, this is the sole vision that we have. Now, it's good to put up a vision, but you need to prove that vision, right? You would say that you've been in business for 7 years, prove that vision. And we started our model portfolios and active advisories around 6 years back. And we said that let's look at this whole data of what we've achieved over the last 6 years. I'm happy to tell you that across Markets Mojo, most of you guys are Infinity clients out here. 98% of Infinity clients have made money. 95% of the model portfolios have made money. This is not a mean number. Go back and remember what Nitin Kamath said on Twitter, that he expects 1% of the clients to make better return than FDs. Go back and look at the ISP study in Hyderabad, where over 80% of investors have lost money in the markets. It is imperative that at any length that you are an investor with Markets Mojo, you have to end up making money. That is a non-negotiable. We do not negotiate on that particular parameter at all, and hence, that's what we stand for. Looking at some more data, buying holding companies and insurance companies. 100% stock coverage. We are maintaining an 80% success rate. I have repeatedly, I think you guys know this language of ours, but we've repeatedly said 80% success rate versus a market success rate of 40%, which is double of that, works on strong buys and strong sells equally. So it is not just a success rate where we say a stock is a strong buy or a buy and it does well, but when we say a stock is a sell or a strong sell, it underperforms the benchmark. Post 6 years, our numbers are the following. With a benchmark of 13%, the aggressive portfolio has done a 40% CAGR. Moderate portfolio has done close to 35% of CAGR, and conservative portfolio has done a 24% CAGR. You cannot be miser in clapping when you see return numbers. Because I cannot be miser in giving you returns, right? Infinity portfolio has done a back testing, and hence it is at 60%. We are completing 6 months, I think next week. 26th April, we are completing 6 months of Infinity portfolio. Market in the last 6 months, 0.3%. Average portfolio of Infinity Custom, average. Some of you are lucky over that, some of you are a little unlucky below that. Average return of Infinity portfolios is at a 14%. 0.3% versus a 14% in these markets, right? Everybody told us small cap rally is gone. You are sitting on stocks that you say, ये कौन सा stock है? ये क्या दे दिया? ये कौन है ये मिर्जा? I also look at the stock and I'm like, ये क्या गया Sunil? Right? When we look at those stocks, a friend of mine called me a couple of days back. वो से क्या लेते हो तुम? But चलता है, right? These are not punting stocks. These are fundamentally strong stocks that will become the mid caps of tomorrow. You will see that these stocks will become the mid caps of tomorrow. We've been 60% in small cap. Nobody in the market today has the strength or had the strength 6 months back, or even 2 months back when the war started, to say that I'm 60% in small cap. We were there, we were sweating, trust me, we were panting every day coming in front of you. Oh my God, right? This is scary. But we delivered a outperformance which is outstanding, I think 14%. Too early to say anything. We are still at our promise that this portfolio ideally should do a closer to 60% kind of a return over the next 5-6 years. Very high risk and very high return. You see a strange name on the board behind me, which is Soul. We have renamed the Infinity portfolio as Infinity Soul because we personally believe that the IP soul has gone into that portfolio. It is a wild horse. When I say it is a wild horse, it decides itself where to go in, and then you have Sunil and me trying to give you justification why the stock has come in. Trust me, sometimes we also look at the stock and we say, iska naam kya hai, ye kaun hai, ye karta kya hai? Uske baad we have to make a story and tell you. Yeah? Is that the right thing? The answer is absolutely yes. Why is that the right thing? Because we have zero human bias. We do not have any human bias to put our preferences out there. We are spokesperson of the IP. There is nothing in our organization that can move unless it is proven through IP. That is the only discipline that works. 2008, when the hedge fund managers grossly went wrong, the IP, right? This IP that we've created is not something very unique. It is something that is existing in the hedge funds back offices where a lot of Harvard graduates sit out there and do this whole simulation, right? 2008, when the crisis came, the IP suggested a strong sell. The managers decided the other way around. I was meeting up with one of the CIOs of one of the largest asset management companies in India, and he had, on this fund, this is, in terms of AUM, one of the top 2 funds in the country today. And when I was sitting with him, we said that, sir, we started your portfolio basis our IP. We took the start date of that portfolio, we started that portfolio, and we ran basis our IP. So the in and out used to happen basis our IP. We did the whole simulation. He delivered 11%, we delivered 24% on his portfolio. CAGR for 12 years. And when I took it to him, and I said, he said, show me the term sheet. So show me the transaction sheets. When we showed the transaction sheets to him, he said, Mohit, the only difference is human bias. Because I keep telling my fund managers, do not sell this stock. But the fund manager loves that stock. He loves the sector. Why does a fund manager love a stock or a sector? Why does this human bias come? Why does a person says a buy on a stock? Why? Because usko wahi aata hai. It's not his problem. That's what he does. Right? An analyst or a fund manager gets and makes expertise 25 years dealing in 3 or 4 sectors at maximum. When he gets the expertise, he doesn't get paid to give a sell call. He gets paid to give a buy call. Because basis that buy call, institutional money is raised. So where is the bias? I am looking at 3 sectors. I have to take my salary home every quarter. I need to give a very strong sector story. I need to, within the sector, give a very strong stock story. नहीं तो bonus नहीं आएगा. Right? It is one thing to say that so many of our customers made money. It is a very challenging statement to make that how many of our customers actually beat the hell out of the benchmark, right? 97%, 6 years, 97% of our investors have made money, 95% have beaten the benchmark, right? And when I say beaten the benchmark, हम लोग 1 digit, 2 digit में believe नहीं करते हैं. We don't believe in that. You don't pay me for breaking the benchmark by 1%, 2%, right? As I said, आप लोग Twitter पे नहीं आएंगे, आप लोग घर आ जाएंगे. We have to beat that benchmark by a substantial margin. We have an internal challenge always that how do we beat the benchmark at a minimum of 100%. That's how we work, assuming we are going to fail. So what is this Eureka moment that we're talking about, right? Now, if you look at the world, and I'm going to take a little bit of a moderate approach than Sunil out here. If you look at the world, I think it's in a complete mayhem, it's in a complete disorder, right? Look at some of the international parameters. You have a war, you have a geopolitical situation going, you have a Russia-Ukraine going, you have a China tapping on Taiwan, you have inflation that is touching 3 or 4 decade high, both in the US and Europe. You have Feds not knowing what to do. You have a deficit that is building up because of the oil prices. With the increased inflation, you have a subdued demand that is slowly creeping in. So there is a lot that is happening internationally. Are we too away, apart from the war, are we too away in India? We have started, result seasons are on, we have started seeing subdued results coming up. We have seen on the rural side, the demand slowing down. We've obviously seen inflation effects in India as well, and we are seeing interest rates that obviously will go up in the country. Minuscule, baby impact, but the impact is getting mirrored out here, and that is something that is inevitable because You may talk about FI holdings going down, 46% retail participation, lekin coupling to hai. There's nothing that you can say that I'm a completely decoupled market. The coupling is definitely there. You may have the whole fundamental strength out there. You may stay completely neutral in the environment, but you cannot take away one thing that is available in the market and which will remain a play area in the market over the next 12 to 24 months. What is most important in this? What do you think is most important in this? That we keep generating returns? We keep making sure that you are outperforming 3x, 4x of the market? Or is there something else? That's how we started thinking. We personally believe in the coming scenario that we are with. There is a very important word that gets added on to returns. That is something that Markets Mojo has always played outside the crease. We've always played outside the crease because of the sheer strength of the IP, but I personally believe there is a time where you've got to go back into your crease at times and be a little defensive. And I think the time is now. I personally feel risk in the market is something that will decide a lot moving forward over the next 24 to 48 months. Look at a simple graph. This graph is older, much older, and is from an era which is much before you were born. High risk, high return, medium risk, medium return, low risk, low return, very high risk, very high return. Right? We've all heard this? Everybody? Yeah? We've all heard this. We feel that ये तो होना ही है. Risk ज़्यादा लोगे, return ज़्यादा मिलेगा. Right? इसको किसी ने सोचा है? Has anybody thought about breaking this matrix? Why do I need to take high risk to deliver high returns? Why do I need to take medium risk to deliver medium returns? Can I change this? Right? When we call for a Eureka moment and when we call you in a room and when we do this large webinar, it is not a marketing strategy. We personally believe that a Eureka moment has come. Product launch is a very different thing that happens. But when we feel that we've cracked something, we would love to share it with you. And that is the discussion today, that this is our enemy. We've got to do something about this because agar risk off ho gaya, that means that I need to come down at my risk level. But how do I keep generating high returns? Right? Ye medium risk. If you look at the theme, can I, in a way, reduce the risk of the portfolios, take it from high risk to a medium risk, and still deliver higher returns? Do you want that? Right? You want that because I know and you know that risk is going to play. How do we make sure that the risk of the portfolio comes down, but return to hame chahiye? Return is non-negotiable, right? We need the return. Let's look at what happens in the market. Mutual funds. All of you guys are investors in mutual funds, I'm assuming. Now, if you look at the whole mutual fund industry, the large and the mid-cap, or a combination, large cap funds, mid-cap funds, or maybe multi-cap funds, which have large and mid-cap, which are the safe equity havens. That this is where the safety of money is, ye jayega. How do you think they have performed? Because these are your medium risk instruments. So we said that let's look at the medium risk instruments. Let's see how the market is performing. Let's see how these mutual funds are performing. And can we beat that by a little margin? Right? That is a simple way to looking at things. S&P, SPIVA. What is SPIVA? SPIVA is Standard & Poor index versus active funds. Standard and Poor index versus active funds. So what they do is they tell you how much of the funds in a country are active funds, are actually outperforming the index. You see the number there? 82% of the mutual funds schemes have underperformed the benchmark over a 5-year period. %82 have underperformed. In the US, over 70% of the funds now go to the passive funds. The passive funds are typically your ETFs. They directly invest in the index, right? We had the strength of a growing economy. We had the strength of creating alphas. We had the strength of disparity in market caps, disparity in growth companies. We had the strength of creating alpha for the last 10, 15 years. That strength is going. That strength is going. Investment in mutual funds for penetration in the equity markets towards tier 2, tier 3 cities, rural market accepted. For generation of returns on an exponential basis, not accepted. Now, if you look at over the last 6.25 years, and why did we take 6.25 years, I'll tell you a little later. But if you look at 6.25 years, index has done 13.7%, mutual funds have done 14%. Yeah? ये मैं जब भी किसी को देखा गया तो वो बोलता है मेरे फंड ने तो 52% किया है. My fund has done 16%, Mohit. My fund has done 26%. Right? We personally believe that we have somewhere cracked the formula of selecting the right fund. Don't we think so? Yeah? Mutual fund is bought and kept how? The same way you keep jewelry in the locker. खरीद दिया. Fill it, shut it, forget it. खरीद लिया इसको. Right? वो पड़ा है. वो पापा ने भी खरीदा तो उनका भी मेरे पास पड़ा है. मेरे वाला भी मेरे बच्चों को जाएगा. It is going on. Right? Do you know no fund has ever been on the top quartile for more than a year? आप जो अभी बोल रहे हैं 26%, वो होगा negative next year. Look at the 2015 numbers. I have given you top 5 funds. The green is in the first quartile, the first 33%. The oranges are the next 33%, and the red is the worst performer. So the fund comes in, bangs as the top performer, then goes and bangs as the bottom performer, then goes and bangs at the medium performer, then goes and bangs at the bottom performer, then he says, no, I'm the top performer. Do you see this? So if you feel that the mutual funds is a buy and hold instrument, I'm sorry. इस पे हम काम करेंगे. According to me, what has to be done on mutual fund schemes for HNI investors is to start treating them as stocks. 15%, 5% का arbitrage है long or short में. Right? थोड़ा आपको तकलीफ होगा स्कीम बेचने में और खरीदने में. But if I were to create a jump portfolio which jumps every 2-3 months into the top fund, you will triple up your returns from the same instruments. You cannot buy, hold, and stick on to the funds. You will generate below average returns. You have to start treating mutual fund as an active investment. You have to start looking at it on a quarterly basis if you are somebody who wants to generate alpha out there. This is the report card. ये सारा हुपला 0.3% के लिए है. इसके लिए हम लोग इतना कर रहे हैं, राइट? हमसे जब आप बात करते हो तो बोलते हो यार मार्केट से तुमने सिर्फ 10% ही ऊपर रिटर्न दिया है। अरे 0.3% पे 14% ही दिया है यार। 60% तो बाबा 60% साल का हो गया, 6 महीना हो गया अभी। Isn't it? You guys are thinking ना? Don't meet me for Q&A after this session. But here जहां अपना पैसा पड़ा है वो ठीक है, right? Most of the wealth lying here is fine. वो ठीक है ना, वो तो I'll give the liability to my kids. Yeah? So we kept a problem on the board. We said, what is our problem? We have to reduce the risk of the portfolio, और ये 14% को तो beat करना है। 14% ही इनका परफॉर्मेंस है म्यूचुअल फंड का, इसको बीट करना है। Will you be happy if I beat 14% taking moderate risk? हाँ? No? Yes or no? How much should I beat it by? 2x at least? Sir, you can meet me. This is the Eureka. Eureka is not a product. The Eureka is that I'm going to show you how to take medium risk and generate higher returns. Don't we want to see this today? We want to do a strategy which creates high returns, as Sir said, and which creates that at a moderate risk level rather than taking higher risk, right? I want to show you how that can be done. Now, medium risk adjusted high returns becomes our theme. This was our problem area. We wanted to crack that, and that is the reason we disappeared for some time to try and crack that particular equation, to come back to you with some answer that we personally found. This is the Eureka moment. And this is our Eureka product. I'm very proud to launch this product to you. There's a lot of effort that has gone, and the result is now going to come. Even if you're not happy, I expect you to clap. I'm just trying to set the background. Yeah? Launching the Infinity Power, guys. This is something that you personally will believe can replace your mutual fund issues, can replace वो जो moderate portfolio है, जो हमारा conservative portfolio है, जो हमारा risky, less risky assets है. This is that allocation where you can allocate fearlessly. This is where you will see known names and not Mirza. Known names आते ही मजा नहीं आता है, right? You see that ये known names में मतलब क्या अभी return आएगा, right? So we don't expect high returns to come in when I tell you that I'll create a large cap portfolio. So let's see that. Let's see what happens here. So this is a moderate risk. It'll have 10 to 12 stocks. Minimum of 80% will be in large and mid caps. All known names, minimum of 80% in large and mid caps. Within the large and mid caps, within that 80%, we will run the same market cap logic. It can go fully in mid, it can go fully in large, right? Anyways, it can go depending on our infinity first market cap logic. So we applied the same logic here, and we said that let it be dynamic, but 80% has to be minimum in large and mid. So we are playing the market cap logic here as well, just the way that we played that in the Infinity Soul portfolio. We did multiple simulations across stocks, sector weights, stock weights, equal weight होना चाहिए, ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, वो high score पे, what do we need to do, time periods. We did a lot of simulations around that before we came out with this product. Now, whenever we come out with a product, you would always look at the absolute performance or you will compare it with something? You would compare it, right? Have you heard the story of Gullu Miya? Iman Dharam, there was a movie with Amitabh Bachchan and Shashi Kapoor, right? Where Amitabh Bachchan goes and gives these false testimony in the court. So he is giving a false testimony of a Gullu Miya. He says, Gullu Miya ko mar diya Fakhruddin ne, and all of that stuff was happening. So the wakil says that, tum batao Gullu Miya ki height kitni hai? तो बोलता है इतनी थी. He says, you may not know, but Gullu Miya जो केस चल रहा है ये एक मुर्गा था. So अमिताभ बच्चन says, मैंने दूसरा हाथ कहाँ रखा है अभी? वो इतनी थी. Right? So relevance of any performance is to see whether we are beating the benchmark, whether we are beating, and we are not going to take the benchmark because I'm going to make the life of mutual fund guys difficult because उतना ही है. Benchmark and return उतना ही है. So we will make sure that we beat that. I'm proud to launch the performance of this portfolio to you. I'm going to take the example of 1 crore that gets invested 6.25 years in large and mid-cap mutual funds, would have delivered a 2.27 crores at a 14% CAGR. Power portfolio, 1 crore has delivered a 4.68, 28% CAGR, which is 240% more. Are you guys happy? You guys happy? Mr. Taparia? I think you're looking at this. Huh? Don't you guys want a little more? Okay. Right. So that was just a tester slide. Lag gayi hai na? This is the actual return out here. One crore delivered a 5.67 crores. We are at a 32% CAGR. We are 340% more than the average mutual fund performance in the last 6.25 years. But then, you can expect higher returns from Markets Mojo, right? So let me give you the third return. 1 crore actually became 10 crores, 9.97. This is a 10 to 12 stock portfolio. This is a moderate portfolio. This invests up to 80% in large and mid cap, goes around 20%, up to 20% maximum in small cap, delivers a 44% CAGR, delivers 750% more than the whole mutual fund industry. A 1 crore invested 6.25 years back becomes a 9.97 crores, a 10 crore. You clapped before I started. हाँ ये खत्म हो जाएगा अभी presentation खत्म भी करना है, right? So the answer to this is no. This is where we were, and we've been able to deliver this return on the Infinity Power portfolio. Go back and look at your aggressive portfolios on Markets Mojo, delivered a 40%, moderate portfolios delivered a 35%, conservative delivered a 25%. This is a moderate portfolio which delivers a 44% return. It is available on Infinity. Once this presentation is over, the product is going to go live on mojoinfinity.com. Mutual fund benchmark return at 14%, we are at a 44%. CAGR outperformance, 6.25 years over 30%, and absolute outperformance over mutual fund is 750%. Now, this is not the test. The test is against the motto and vision of Markets Mojo, which is every investor has to make money, right? So what we did was 6.25 years, we broke into every quarter over 6.25 years, and we created investors that came every quarter. I'm happy to announce to you that 100% of investors made money. They beat the benchmark. In any quarter that they came, whether they came last quarter, 2 quarters back, 3 quarters back, 4 quarters back, this is not a probability equation that we're talking about. वो higher return को ले लो, पहले वाले को ले लो, simulation को. Every investor made money, and that fulfills our motto. I expect this product to be at 100%. Even if it is not 100%, I would not compromise even on a 99%. We're going to make sure that all investors in this room who are Infinity investors make this return possible. Highlights, minimum investment is 50 lakhs. We're keeping the same as Infinity Soul. Lower than 50 lakhs, we cannot commit right now because we are only going to take 500 investors. So we will take 500 investors only to launch this particular product. Lower than 50 lakhs will have to get waitlisted. Fees would be at 2%. Logic is the same. 1% at start, 1% only if you make money. 1% when you make money, we obviously will add post-cost, which means that we will add our 1% back into your money. We will add your brokerage cost into the money. And then if we are outperforming, only then we'll charge. Otherwise, the service is free for use. How to fund? I personally believe a lot of your large and mid-cap allocation can go into this product. I personally believe that your moderate and conservative portfolios that you've been holding can move into this. Within a week's time, we will give you a one-click shift from your moderate portfolio into any of the Infinity products. So if you have a moderate or a conservative or aggressive portfolio, you want all your personal portfolios on Markets Mojo, and you want to shift it to Infinity with a click of a button, decide the amount, and you'll be able to shift that into the Mojo Infinity portfolio. Select Soul or select Power, which is our new portfolio, and you can move there. How to subscribe? You can log on to Mojo Infinity. You can choose the Power portfolio. It's already gone live while you're sitting here. You can select the amount. You can pay the fees. You can sign the agreement. For investors who are currently existing Infinity investors, you do not need to sign a new agreement. You can as good as start the portfolio on Monday. There is no start date of the portfolio. As soon as we can reconcile your first fees coming in, you can start the portfolio the same day. We have to have a little more, right? We are launching an incentive only for 3 days, which basically means that anybody who comes from today onwards puts the commitment. Obviously, your fees can follow. Puts the commitment, because we want to lock in the 500 investors before we finish today. If they put the commitment in, we are going to offer a 1.5% rate rather than 2% rate, lifelong on that amount. Not for the first year, lifelong. Please understand, this gets over on 26th. You have to put your commitment before 26th. If you do that, on 26th, midnight, you will get a 1.5%. You don't want me to influence the system and be biased when I like a company, right? So I hope you don't come to me on 27th morning, because the system is going to change the price on 27th morning. How to commit? You have a counter outside. You can commit there. We will put QR codes. You can just scan the QR code, just put the amount out there, and you will get your commitment out there. Or you can register on mojoinfinity.com, whatever suits you. So you can do that. Complete the payment before 27th of April, which is next week, and then the portfolio goes live for you. There are drinks also. Before we head there, remember the 2 dates. 26th April is the commitment date. You can commit today. We are only going to take 500 investors here. And 27th of April is the payment date. We are also doing a Q&A session for your detailed queries on the portfolio itself. ये कैसे होता है, कौन से stocks हैं, how does this happen, show me year-on-year returns, show me risk of the portfolio. We'll do a detailed Q&A session on the 25th April at 7 p.m. If you want to attend that, please attend that. We will open the registration links for that. Failure makes everything possible. That's what we believe. And as I told you, we are postgraduate in failure. With this, I would like to call my partner and friend, Joyson, to bow to you as a thank you, and lovely seeing you guys. Joy. Thank you. Please join us. We are all available for any kind of a discussion out here. Please join us outside. Thank you so much.